Welcome back, everyone. It's time for more NBA picks and player props predictions. It's Friday, December 26th. I'm My Guy Knows a Guy here on my sports predictions channel. Let's continue. We have 9 NBA games on the schedule today for us to bet on. It should be a really good day for us to make some money in the league, but remember, nothing is guaranteed, guys. Don't ever bet more than you can afford to lose. I do have a few NBA picks for tonight to share with you in this video. Take a second to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, I will be live streaming tonight at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. I usually start streaming before the games to run through the entire slate, add more plays, and then I continue streaming for a couple more hours with live bets during the games. If you're interested in live in-game NBA betting, make sure you join me during my live stream tonight at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. With that said, here are my NBA best bets for today. The first game that I'm going to talk about in this video is the game between the Miami Heat and the Atlanta Hawks tonight. The Atlanta Hawks are 3.5-point favorites here at home, and Bam Adebayo is doubtful for this game with back soreness. The month of December hasn't been kind to either of these two teams. They haven't been playing their best basketball this month. The Atlanta Hawks defense ranks as one of the worst in the league during the month of December for a variety of reasons. Their defense has largely been ineffective for most of the season, but their problems on that end of the court seem to be snowballing since the return of Trae Young. He isn't the only player to blame though. Their center Onyeka Okongwu has been one of the worst defensive bigs in the league when defending the pick and roll. This was a Hawks team that was a profitable squad to bet on just a few weeks ago against the spread, but they're currently on a 6-game losing streak against the spread. They're also 4-10 against the spread at home this season. That's one of the worst home ATS records. This is a talented team. The Hawks do have another superstar in the making in Jalen Johnson. He's been playing at an all-star level. He might even be an all-star starter this season in the East. Jalen Johnson has been averaging a 20-point triple-double in the month of December. His ability to both get to the free throw line and distribute the ball effectively to his teammates has really kept the Hawks in a lot of games this season. New Hawks signing Nickeil Alexander-Walker is also in the midst of a career year, but the Hawks haven't been getting enough defensively from Onyeka Okongwu and Dyson Daniels. The defensive regression of Dyson Daniels has also been notable this season because they invested in him long-term in the offseason. On the Miami Heat side of things, they're 16-14 against the spread this year. We all remember back in the first half of November when the Heat led the league in points scored per game. They were also the most efficient offense in the league at that time. But since then, they've been sliding down the Eastern Conference standings. They've lost 8 of their last 9 games straight up on the money line. They're also only 2-8 overall in the month of December. Their problem hasn't necessarily been defensive effort, in my opinion. Their recent slide has largely been due to injuries. Tyler Herro hasn't played that much this season, and both Bam Adebayo and Andrew Wiggins both seem to be regressing offensively this season. With Tyler Herro out of the lineup and both Bam Adebayo and Andrew Wiggins failing to hit their shots, it's been easier for opposing coaching staffs to game plan for Norman Powell. Norman Powell has been getting double teamed at a high rate this season, and he hasn't been as efficient offensively over their last couple of games. Regarding injuries though, the Heat do have some positive news for tonight's game in terms of depth. They're expecting the return of both Nikola Jovic and Pele Larson. When both of those players were in the lineup a few weeks ago, the Heat were playing much better basketball. They do benefit from having a sneaky amount of depth on their roster. The emergence of second-year center Khalil Ware on both ends of the floor has been eye-opening for most of the league this year. He was a bit inconsistent to start this season, but he's really hit his stride recently. He set a career high in scoring against the Knicks last week, and he's also been a great rim protector for the Heat. I really feel like Khalil Ware might cause problems for the Hawks' interior defense tonight. The Miami Heat also have a big-time edge in terms of offensive rebounding over their last couple of games compared to the Hawks. Even though both teams have been playing poorly recently, I can't back the Atlanta Hawks with the way they've been defending recently. My pick in this game is the Miami Heat plus 3.5 at -110 odds to win 1 unit. Moving on to the game between the Toronto Raptors and the Washington Wizards tonight. The Raptors are currently 7-point favorites on the road here, and this is an interesting game to me. Before I share my pick for this one, remember that I might add more bets for today's slate during my live stream tonight, so make sure you're there at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. The Wizards have been getting stomped against the spread once again this season. They're only 10-18. The Raptors are a bit better. They're 13-18 against the spread, but they have been slightly positive against the number on the road this year. The Raptors are 9-7 ATS on the road this year. The glaring flaw for the Toronto Raptors this season has been their inability to rebound. They've been getting crushed on the boards on both ends of the court this season. And in terms of offensive rebounds, Raptors opponents this season have been generating tons of second chance opportunities that have also led to wide open threes. I also have concerns about the Raptors pick and roll defense. It seems like both Jakob Poeltl and Sandro Mamukelashvili have regressed in terms of their pick and roll D. They've both been flat-footed, and Raptors opponents have been hunting those two players specifically in their matchups. One player on the Wizards roster that I truly think could benefit from this matchup is CJ McCollum. Along with Alex Sarr, CJ McCollum has pretty much been the Wizards' best player this season. He's shaping up to be a top trade deadline candidate, and I think those rumors might be motivating him at the moment. He's averaging just under 3 3-pointers made this season, while averaging just over 7 threes attempted for the Wizards. He's averaging 31 minutes played per game this season, but over his last 10 games, we've seen an uptick in his minutes. CJ McCollum is averaging 33 minutes played per game over his last 10, and I think he's primed for a high volume performance today against the Raptors. I think he's a great ball handler, and he's also been taking advantage of scenarios in which opposing bigs have been caught in bad switches defensively. When you look at the Raptors' recent defensive performances against opposing guards, they've been allowing opposing guards to score at a pretty high rate over their last 10 games. They allowed rookie Brooklyn Nets point guard Egor Yemen to go over his points line in their recent matchup. Egor scored 16 against the Raptors. They also allowed big games from Derek White, Davion Mitchell, Ryan Rollins, and Kevin Porter Jr. just in the last couple of weeks. The Raptors might win and cover the game against the Wizards tonight, but they're going to have to prove to me that they can defend the perimeter at the level that we saw from them earlier this season. My second pick in this video is CJ McCollum of the Washington Wizards to go over 18.5 points at -110 odds to win 1 unit. My next pick comes in the game between the Phoenix Suns and the New Orleans Pelicans tonight. The Suns are on the road and they're 5.5 point favorites here. Both of these teams have had positive performances against the spread in the month of December, but it's been the Pelicans who've been absolutely incredible against the spread in December. The Pelicans are 12-5-1 against the spread when playing at home this season. They've also covered the spread in 10 of their last 12 games overall. The Phoenix Suns have also been incredible against the spread. The Phoenix Suns have also been incredible against the spread overall this season. They're 19-10 against the number. The Pelicans and the Suns are actually the two most profitable teams to bet on against the spread overall this season. Who predicted that before the season started? I really do feel like Phoenix Suns first-year head coach Jordan Ott should be a Coach of the Year candidate. I'm starting to see a direct correlation between him leaving the Cavaliers in the offseason, where he was an assistant coach under Kenny Atkinson, who won Coach of the Year last year, and the on-court performance of both the Cavs and the Suns this year. He seems to be getting the best out of his players on both sides of the ball. The Suns crushed the Lakers by 24 points the other day at home, but the Lakers have many issues of their own at the moment, including injuries and potential coaching controversies. Much like the Pelicans, the Suns have actually done much of their damage against the spread at home this season. They're 11-4 against the number there. Fortunately for the Pelicans tonight, they'll be playing at home in front of a home crowd that's been very energetic recently. First round rookies Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears both continue to be revelations for the Pelicans. They've both been performing well in their respective roles, and they're actually both net positive defenders, which is pretty rare for a rookie. Also, when you consider his play in the month of December alone, it could be argued that Trey Murphy has been playing at an all-star level. These two teams are somewhat evenly matched here recently, except for one major category, and that's rebounding. The Pelicans have a substantial edge on the boards. Derek Queen, Zion Williamson, and the rest of the Pelicans team have been making a concerted effort to clean up on the boards this month. The Suns defense has been performing very well recently. The Suns forced more turnovers than any team in the league over their last 5 games. But a part of the Pelicans' success at home recently has been the fact that they've been keeping their turnovers to a minimum. I think this might be a very entertaining game tonight, but I think it's too many points for the Suns to be laying on the road here. My next pick is the New Orleans Pelicans plus 5.5 at -110 odds to win 1 unit. I'm about to share one more pick with you in this video, but before I do that, I want to remind you to hit the like button for me. Help this video get as close as we can to 100 likes before the games tip off tonight. Also, subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed, and and turn notifications on. Leave a comment below about anything NBA related. My next pick comes in the game between the Detroit Pistons and the Utah Jazz tonight. The Pistons are 9.5-point favorites on the road here. The Pistons and Jazz have both been profitable to back against the spread this season. The Jazz are 16-13 ATS and the Pistons are 17-13 ATS. The Utah Jazz, similar to the Pelicans, have been extremely profitable to back at home against the number. They're 12-5 ATS at home. But regarding the Utah Jazz, there have been a couple of defensive trends developing for them. Simply put, when the Utah Jazz play at home, we usually get a track meet. The pregame total has gone over in 13 of the 17 games that the Jazz have played at home this season. This is largely due to the fact that the Jazz have one of the worst defenses in the NBA since center Walker Kessler was ruled out for the rest of the season due to shoulder surgery. I don't think many people realize how much of an impact Walker Kessler had on the Jazz defense. They've actually fallen off a cliff dramatically. In the month of December, the Utah Jazz defense is actually giving up points at historic levels on a per possession basis. With Lauri Markkanen in and out of the lineup, the Utah Jazz have been relying on Kevin Love and Yusuf Nurkic to protect the rim. To make matters worse, even though Lauri Markkanen has a ton of size, he's basically a perimeter-oriented player. The Jazz allow more points per game overall than any other team in the league this season. They also allow more points per game overall to opposing guards than any other team in the league. The one player that I think is going to benefit from this matchup against the Utah Jazz is superstar Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham is in the middle of a career year for the Pistons. His size on the perimeter, his ability to get to the free throw line, and his ability to hit threes at a very high rate bodes really well for him in this matchup against the Jazz, in my opinion. The young Utah Jazz backcourt has been performing really well offensively, namely Keontae George and Isaiah Collier. With that said, that same Utah Jazz backcourt has been getting destroyed defensively. It seems like every guard has been going over their points prop line recently when matched up against this Jazz backcourt. Recently, we've seen big-time offensive performances from Jamal Murray, Luka Doncic, Ja Morant, Jalen Brunson, and Steph Curry when matched up against this Jazz team. I think this is a great chance for Cade to bounce back against a really poor Utah Jazz defense. My next pick in this video is Cade Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons to go over 27.5 points at -114 odds to win 1 unit. Hit the like button for me, it really does help the video. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to my channel now and turn notifications on so you don't miss my upcoming picks videos and live betting streams. Remember, I will be going live this evening at 5:30 p.m. Eastern to go through the entire slate and possibly add more bets. If you're interested in more picks for tonight's 9-game schedule, make sure you watch my live stream tonight. I'll be on for multiple hours during the games, providing live betting advice and in-game analysis. Also, visit my website, frenzyforecast.com. That's my VIP picks newsletter. Sign up over there if you're interested in college basketball, NFL, college football, and soccer picks this weekend. Best of luck with all of your NBA picks for today. I'll see you next time.